but like the Boy Scouts will say, always be prepared. And so, you know, when you go and do things, everyone hears the stories about like, oh, Bill Gates was on the curb outside CES and ran into some executives, and all of a sudden he was able to sell his first OS, and it was just coincidental, and and he got lucky and things like that. And yes, there's a tremendous amount of luck involved in success when you start a business, but you can enhance your probabilities of success by making your own luck. You hang out in the right place at the right time, and you go the extra mile, and you apply when other people are like, yeah, I don't know, that seems like a lot of work. When you get that thing where there's that great opportunity that happens over Christmas break, that like you're gonna have to give up some time with your family to go do it, sometimes you just gotta go do that. And I'll tell you a good story, and this is probably the best story I have about making your own luck, is I was a high school student in the science fairs. And this shows what an old man I'm recalling high school stories. High school student doing science fairs, and I was at the International Science Fair in Pittsburgh, and all the other kids were dismissed. Everybody was dismissed to go to like lunch or whatever, but I was there to show off my project and get feedback from the judges and from anyone who wandered by, because I was super proud of my project. And so I stuck around, and so it was this big empty hall of projects and me and my project. And this old man kind of wandered up to me, and he sat down in a chair, and he started to ask me about it, and I talked to him for about an hour. And he introduced himself as Glenn. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting. The guy's asking me really great questions and making really high-end suggestions. He's clearly a scientist. And he walks away, and I see my chemistry teacher from my high school walk by and see me talking to Glenn, but he doesn't interrupt. And he walks by, and so Glenn thanks me, and I thank Glenn, and he walks away. And my chemistry teacher comes up and says to me, so, you have a nice little chat there? And I'm like, yep. And he's like, who was that? And I'm like, oh, it's a guy named Glenn. He's like, yep. You know who Glenn is? I'm like, nope. He's like, Glenn's last name is Seaborg. Glenn Seaborg is a Nobel Prize winner that discovered a number of transuranium elements. He's a famous guy in physics and in chemistry. In fact, they named an element after him, Seaborgium. And so I had an hour audience with a Nobel Prize winner about my high school science project. And I would not have had that audience or had that discussion had I not stuck around. And that's what I think about when I say make my own luck. And that's how it is when you run small businesses. You've got to make your own luck because no one's making it for you. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah, no, I mean, I think it illustrates the point too, that taking advantage of the opportunity you have while you're a student to soak up moments where you get time, attention, and frankly, windows that you're not going to get after you graduate. So.